recipe, a cup and a dash. Our kitchen is open, come in and see. A cup and a dash, chopped onions, parsley, fresh basil leaves. You're welcome to stay, won't you please? Add a cup and a dash. Let's get cooking at a cup and a dash. Satisfaction guaranteed.
Hello everyone, welcome to Cup and a Dash on YouTube. This is Bill Rohde, and I thank you for joining me for my first show. The show is Party Time with a Hunk of Meat. But before we go into that recipe, I'd like to tell you a little bit about the show. My son Nick asked me to put together some recipes, of my favorite recipes that I make, and I thought I would put them together in format of YouTube, so my kids and my grandkids could always watch when they want to make one of my favorite recipes. So today we're going to start with an appetizer of eggplant and zucchini, and you're going to love this recipe. Now we're going to slice the eggplant and zucchini into about 1/4 inch slices for single serving. We're going to oil the pan with olive oil and sprinkle Italian seasoned bread crumbs for flavoring. On an oven of 325 degrees, we're going to cook the slices on each side for about 10 minutes. The seasoned breadcrumbs will adhere very nicely to the eggplant and zucchini, and the flavoring will be mouth-watering. You will love the taste of it. After this is all baked, what I'm going to do is I'm going to fry some red peppers and also make some homemade Italian gravy. Now before I go on, I just want you to take a look at this beautiful appetizer. You're going to love this. What we're going to do before putting it back in the oven and putting the homemade Italian gravy on it, we're going to put some layers of Munster cheese on top of each piece of the zucchini, as you can see there, and on the eggplant slices. This is almost going to be like individual pizzas, but with a lot less calories. This is going to be so good tasting, I'm telling you. You're not going to believe it. Now what you're looking at here are the red peppers. They are being sauteed in some olive oil, and what I'm going to do is add some water to get some steamage down there, so it will get those red peppers nice and soft. We don't want to get them too soft. We want them to have a little bit of consistency, but this is what I do to try to get a perfect fried red pepper. These are going to dress up my slices of eggplant and my zucchini. As you can see, the water is providing a lot of steam in there for the red peppers.
Where is the beef?
Now what I've done here is I've taken out the red peppers, left behind the juices that rendered down, and I put my sliced garlic into a little more olive oil. I've added it, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to fry these sliced garlic into the same juices that the red peppers were frying in. It'll provide a whole lot more flavor for my homemade Italian gravy. Now for the homemade Italian gravy, what I've done is I've used crushed tomatoes, and I've put in some salt, probably about like a teaspoon of salt. I put about a tablespoon of sugar, and I put some basil leaves, probably about a quarter cup. You could add as much or less as you want, depending on how you like your Italian gravy. This is really going to be a great sauce with the fried garlic slices and the juices left behind by the red pepper.
Where's the beef?
Now this is what you get when it's done. You have a beautiful appetizer. You have your sliced zucchini, eggplant. On top of that, you have your seasoned breadcrumbs. You have a slice of Munster cheese on each piece, some homemade gravy, and a slice of red pepper right on top there, as you can see. It is a beautiful thing to serve you and your guests. They're going to love the taste. It's outstanding. It's out of this world. And if you don't like what that looks like, I don't know what to tell you. Now I've also sprinkled some Parmesan cheese on top, just to add a little more flavoring. You can use it if you'd like. If you like the cheese, if you don't, you could omit it. It's totally up to you how you serve this really fine appetizer.
Where's the beef?
Now when you plate this baby, you could put anything you want with the zucchini and the eggplant. What I've done here is I've added some rolled hot supersod, and that will add a little bit of a added taste of some meat and a hot flavor with your eggplant and zucchini. But it's totally up to you what you serve with this dish, or just serve it on its own. But as you can see, this is a beautiful appetizer, and you could have this on any Sunday afternoon when you're watching a football game, or really any time of the day. Okay, now here's the beef. What we're going to be using in this recipe are chopped red onions. There's about a cup, and homemade broth, and a nice top sirloin beef. This is going to be a beautiful dish, so I want you to watch closely. You're going to love how this comes together. It's a one-pot dish. What we're doing first here is we're sauteing the red onion in some olive oil, of course. What else? And we're going to saute that. We're going to add some water for some steamage. And later on, we're going to add a nice glass of Cabernet Sauvignon to this mixture to add some bolder flavor to our broth. Now this is a beautiful, beautiful thing here. You don't want to miss this. You don't want to leave nothing out. We're using some 100-year-old cookware. This is Guardian service cookware that is over 100 years old, and it's probably, well, we know that it's outlasted some of the original people who bought this cookware. But it is a great cookware. You could buy it at estate sales or garage sales, and it's worth the investment. You can't match the taste that comes out of this cookware. Now we've added about 2 ounces of Cabernet Sauvignon. This is going to really put some bold flavor in the broth, and it's really going to pump up the taste in the overall dish. This is a one-pot recipe, very low cleanup, and you get a big bang for just a one-pot dish. You're going to see how I will put this thing together and see how simple it is to do. Now in this recipe, we are using about a half a cup of fresh basil. Fresh basil will explode the flavor in this dish. It's a must. Don't pass it up. Don't try using the bottled. Go with the fresh and enjoy the end result. We are going to drop this right into our one pot. I'm going to pick that up. I'm going to put that right in there, as you'll see. We're going to let that dance around with the sauteed onions, and then we're going to start working on our hunk of meat. Okay, what we've done with our top sirloin is we've put some flour on it. What I did was I did it the old-fashioned way, the way the old-timers did it. Put the flour in a brown paper bag. We put the hunk of beef there into the bag, and we shook it up, and we pretty much coated it very nicely, as you can see. We're going to brown that hunk of meat. That's the top sirloin you're looking at there. And this thing is going to be ready for some serious cooking. Okay, now the next step for this one pot dish is to drop that homemade broth in there. You could use store-bought broth, the pre-packaged. You could make your own with the powdered. Really, however you want to do it, it's up to you. You could get as nutty as you want, and hey, I'm not going to complain. But you want to drop it in there over the meat, over the pot, and we're going to add that in there. Later on, after we're done filling it with our fresh green beans and our potatoes, we will add some water to it so it's not too salty. We want to bring that level up a little bit, almost to the top. Alright, so let's put that fresh green beans, let's get that in that pot with the red peppers and the fresh basil and that top sirloin that's crying for some fresh veggies to be around it and to hug it in that beef broth. So we're going to line that pot, we're going to line those fresh green beans all around it and get it ready to support the potatoes. Now you've got to admit, while you're looking at me prepare this pot and this dish, your mouth is watering, and let's be honest, I mean, this should be a picture that's in the art museum, if you ask me. Well, as we approach the final phases of this dish, you can see we have our potatoes already. I have washed them. I didn't want to peel them. I wanted them to have the skin on them. They do cook really nicely in a one-pot dish. This dish is going to be cooking for about 6 hours. So it's going to be the oven's going to be on 325. We're going to have it on a low heat. It's going to cook for about 6 hours, and that meat will come so tender that it will melt in your mouth like a popsicle, and you're going to just love the flavor of the top sirloin. You're going to love the fresh green beans and those potatoes. Once this recipe is done cooking, you will be ready to serve it up to you and your guests. We'll line the potatoes right alongside the top sirloin, right on top of the fresh green beans, and that is where they will stay until this thing is all done cooking. So what I've done here is I've seasoned it with whatever seasoning. You could put whatever you want on there. I wouldn't add any more seasoning with sodium on it. There'll be enough from the broth. And then I'm adding some water to bring that broth level up to almost the top, probably around maybe about an inch from the top, just to give it some room. This is going to be so tasty, and you are going to just love serving this to your guests, and you're going to love eating it yourself. Now you're going to want to cover this with tin foil and try to make a dome so the steam will continue to be captured and render back down into the sirloin and the potatoes and the fresh green beans. This will withhold all of the flavor that's going on for the next 6 hours of cooking. At the end of the 6 hours of cooking, this is what you get. I've carved the top sirloin with a carving knife. I've cut it very thin, and I've returned the sliced meat back into the juices so it could continue to absorb the flavoring. Really, all that's left to do now is to plate this dish and to serve it to your guests. And of course, you better eat it yourself. So the waiting is over, and it's time to plate your dish and serve your guests. This is a beautifully prepared dish, an easy dish with low cleanup. Until next time, this is Bill Rohde saying ciao.
Where can you find the best recipe? A cup and a dash. Our kitchen is open. Come in and see. A cup and a dash. Chopped onions, parsley, fresh basil leaves. You're welcome to stay, won't you please? Add a cup and a dash. Let's get cooking at a cup and a dash. Satisfaction guaranteed.